football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for Fansided. I'm joined today by a man who I don't think's been to Buc-ee's before, who's definitely probably done some late night drive-throughs at Crystal, but we all know that he's been to Waffle House before. Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. Scattered, smothered, and covered, baby. It don't mean enough, Paul. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I have been to Waffle House. Actually, I wrote a poem about Waffle House for a creative writing class in college, and my poetry professor, who was just a piece of work. I went to college to be a poetry major, bad choice, and I immediately switched that because of this professor. But she said it was my best work of the semester was this poem about Waffle House. So yes, I've been there before.
Yeah, gotta love those teachers and love those professors, and we love all of you starters. So we appreciate all 56 of you. We're gonna
That's
get
right.
more of you because this is our season preview. This is like no more like messing around. Like we're we're gonna keep this tight, sort
Dude,
of. I
we're here,
guess
man.
we're,
We're
we're here.
here. It came quick. It came quick, you know.
I know it wasn't that long. I was at a Waffle House on the 4th of July, and now we're
That's
here.
right.
So yeah, be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, give this thing a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. It may only be a power four, but it's not a group of five, it's a group of six now. So we're
Mhm.
gonna do our SEC preview show today. Next up will be Big Ten, ACC, Big 12, group of six, and then I think we do the playoff previews, and then week zero will be here with your North Carolina Tar Heels playing the TCU Horned Frogs in Dublin. That's going to be
God
that's a
help me.
phrase, dude. I
God
know.
help me, man. Not like I normally enjoy week zero. Not this year. Not this year. No.
No, I just realized I got to do a preseason show for the Falcons because they play on Friday.
Oh, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
Falcons
yeah,
football is back.
yeah. Check that out on the Blog and Dirty podcast. We're now doing a 2 a week now. It's going to be great. Or I'm going to be doing 2 a week.
That's
Shout out,
right.
Dirty Birds. Let's go.
Dirty birds, baby.
And obviously, we fall started today. Our first and 15 today will be, or definitely maybe in our satin kimonos. Again, these next several shows are going to follow the same format. We don't need to overthink this. We're going to be consistent, like Waffle House.
That's right, man. You might not be looking for the best football preview, but you know what you're getting. We're going to give you some analysis. We're going to keep it tight like a tiger and just get through it.
Absolutely. So, for those of you who are new out here, our first segment's always first and 15 because this is fall start and this is always what we do. It's our lead topic and it's perfectly named when you fall start. It's first and 15.
5 yard penalty, baby.
5-yard penalty, automatic, not first down. It's been so long, I forgot how the rules of football even work.
We'll have to brush up. I probably have as well.
So our definitely maybe, this stems from the Oasis album, definitely maybe. So we look all periodically throughout the season, off season, like this team definitely maybe might be good. Like this is not a playoff team. This is a team that we think could crack the top 25 and be intriguing heading into next year. Like South Carolina a couple of years ago, Ole Miss a few years back, Illinois. These are kind of the teams we are looking for like that. And again, maybe they're even less than this. Like maybe they're teams that are going to surprise some people like the
Yeah.
Indiana Hoosiers a year ago.
Yeah, or like a team that's going to go bowling that you're like people are projecting to win 3 games. Like, it could be anything.
Absolutely. You lead us off. Who is your definitely maybe might be good team out of the SEC this year?
Well, Bueller, you already mentioned him. It's South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yes.
I'm back on the train once again. Here's the thing, though, as I look at kind of like that middle belt, like I don't think South Carolina's a playoff contender. I don't think South Carolina's going to the playoff. I'm not getting over my skis again. But when I look at South Carolina and I look at them in relation to a Florida, an Auburn, a Missouri, and things of this nature, you know what South Carolina has that those other teams don't? Is a lot of
Defense.
consistency at some of the most important positions on the field. You've got a star edge rusher in Dylan Stewart that you know is going to come in there and wreak havoc. Oh, you also supplemented that in the transfer portal. You have Lenora Sellers, who is a freak of nature, who was stuck in a bad offense but behind a bad offensive line. Well, you've upgraded the offensive line. You still got Nick Harbor on the outside. And I look at Missouri, you're changing quarterback. I look at Florida, you're changing everything. I look at Auburn, you're changing everything. And when I look at that group of teams, one of them is going to end up ranked in the top 25. And South Carolina has so much more consistency coming into that position that I just really feel that this could be one of those things. And on top of that, there is kind of a Shane Beamer at South Carolina in even years type of deal going on here. And we're in 2026.
Didn't know he was a San Francisco Giants fan,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's a great one. I don't have them on here. What I like about your thoughts with South Carolina is, you've got Lenore Sellers, you've got Nick Harbor, you've got Dylan Stewart on
Mhm.
defense. Shane Beamer's kind of got it going when his back's against the wall. You still retain Clayton White on defense. And also, you upgraded massively at OC with
Yeah.
Kendall Briles coming over from TCU. So South Carolina, I mean, they could win 8 or 9 games, maybe 10. I don't. Maybe they have like a Vanderbilt type of year, but like they've got quality. They got better wins potentially on the resume. But that's a team to certainly monitor. They just scare me, dude.
I mean, as they should, because this could once again not be the year for South Carolina and blow up in my face. But I do think there's a lot to like in a middle belly that of the SEC that's just hard to trust. Like there's a lot of unknown commodities.
And as it is with everything, I always have to in case we overlap, but we didn't overlap. So the team that I'm going to go with, probably not a surprise to you. I think the Mississippi State Bulldogs is going to be feisty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like this team a lot.
This is a team that I think could maybe go upwards of 8-4. They are certainly a bowl team. I think they're going to be more 7-5. I love Kamario Taylor at quarterback. This team plays so hard for Jeff Levy. Also, you got Zach Arnett back in the role that he's meant to do,
Yes.
coordinating the defense. This team has gone through it more so than I think anybody in the SEC in a very, very long time. I think when programs have just been just decimated and desecrated, and you believe in yourself and you're rebuilding it from within. This is kind of what happened with Arizona State under Kenny Dillingham. And again, this is a team that, like, I think beat Arizona State last year.
Right.
Um, they're not going to win the games that like are going to get you into playoff consideration by any margin, but they are going to be a team that's going to throw a wrench in some of these ones that we'll get to later that could potentially make the playoff. I found out they haven't beaten Arkansas in a year where Mike Leach hasn't coached in a while, which is shocking.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's been a minute since we lost the Pirates. So
Yeah, pouring out there. I also think Mizzou could be interesting too. I think Austin Simmons just kind of clicks. I think Drink's going to maintain some sort of footing here because again, they tried to get him at Penn State. We thought that he might be a candidate for Auburn, Florida, FSU. He's here. So keep an eye on Mizzou. I think that they might be feisty, but this is an interesting collective of definitely maybes we've got.
no, 100%. I really like the Mississippi State. I like Missouri as well. Like I put them in that middle belly and like I could see any of those teams being good because there's a lot of things to like about Florida, Auburn, Missouri, and South Carolina, in my opinion. But going to the Mississippi State pick, because I do think that's a little more interesting. Like they've been a program that has gone essentially like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
You have the Dan Mullen era, which was obviously very successful, and then you hire Joe Moorhead. Not as successful. Then Mike Leach takes over, and you're starting to get things, going back in a positive direction. And then unfortunately, he passes away, and so you go to Zach Arnett, who, you know, unwinnable position, honestly, but he also wasn't ready to be a head coach, and that was quite clear. We've liked everything we've seen from Jeff Lebby. It's a steep climb to get to the point where you want to go, but I think you hit the nail on the head that this is a year where you could start to see kind of the fruits of those labors really start to pay off.
This is not going to be a bottom quarter team in the SEC.
No, I'm right there with you. I like
I'm
that.
right. And then the anti, definitely maybe, the Paul Finch satin kimono. We love American Pie, even though it's not politically correct. But in American Pie 2, Paul Finch, played by Eddie K. Thomas, was practicing a tantra and wearing satin kimonos, waiting for Janine Stifler to come by, and he was having a bad time.
Look, man, the thing about never mind, I'm not gonna go on a tantrum seconds rant, but anyway, yeah, you get it. You get it.
So the team that we're just not buying, who is that for you in the SEC?
You want to venture a guess?
It's probably Tennessee.
Oh no, it's
No,
Alabama,
no, no, it's
brother.
Alabama.
You know it's Alabama. And look, I do appreciate the fact that it does seem like Keelan Russell is going to be the guy. I think that is the right choice. I've been on that corner for a while. There are just a lot of problems with this Alabama team beyond that. You still don't have a running game that I don't think you can trust. That offensive line is worrisome to say the least. I believe they brought in 6 transfers and only 2 have FBS starting experience. Not exactly what you want if you're playing in the SEC. Ryan Coleman Williams, I do expect a bounce back, but we're also talking about a guy who had the worst drop rate in the country last year. And then more importantly for me, on the defensive side of the ball, we know that secondary is going to be absolutely nasty. The front four worries me. And when you think about Bama, they've always got dudes in the front four. I don't know where the dudes are coming from with this particular team. And it kind of goes to the problems that I pointed out with Kalen DeBoer is you're getting a little far away from the Bama DNA, which the Bama DNA to me in a lot of ways has always been the trenches. Like that's how Nick Saban won as much as he did is the trenches were never a problem. It may, you're going to raise your floor and raise your ceiling if you're dominant in the trenches. And I don't think this team is capable of being dominant in the trenches. And so when you have an SEC that is as talented as it is at the top, and with that middle belly that I've talked about, that is frisky to say the least, and has some potential opportunity there. I think Alabama ends up probably closer to that middle belly than they do the contenders.
Those are all great salient points. I am a little bit higher on Alabama than you,
Yeah,
granted, because I did cover Alabama for like 2 months during the summer.
it's fair.
So
It's fair.
I think the things that I could get them over the top here is if Keelan Russell's a dude, if Ryan Coleman Williams comes back and plays like he should, and the secondary's filthy. I think that the coaching staff is strong,
Mhm.
but and I do think that they might be able to run the football, particularly with 5-star freshman EJ Crowell coming in. The problem for me is you're absolutely right. The trenches are scary.
Mhm.
Offensive line's in as bad of a shape as I can ever remember it. And then being able to be filthy and strong and on the defensive line, like that's who Alabama is. That's what they've always been. And when you're not that, how can you possibly close out games? Like if I'm not saying Georgia, but if you're playing like a Georgia or a Texas or God, even Ole Miss, some team that can run the football,
Even if you're playing like
like
LSU with that line that they have, like LSU's line is probably going to be able to push Alabama around.
like if you're going to play Oregon in the playoff, you're not advancing
Mm.
because Oregon's going to be able to dictate terms. I mean, maybe you'll get by with Ohio State because they're kind of built similarly, but they're just a better all around program right now.
No, and yeah, I think I would say like I'm just lower on like what the ceiling is for Alabama. Like they're a team that gets thrown around in like national championship, like dark horse or sleeper conversations. And like I just can't like I still think if you make the playoff as an 11 seed, if you're Alabama, you're probably pretty disappointed as an Alabama fan, even if you're in the playoff. Like that's just kind of my read on the situation. Like Kalen DeBoer has lost as many games in the past 2 years that Nick Saban did in his last 5. That's where we're
Yeah, but
at.
yeah, Alabama needs to be a top 8 seed. They have the schedule to do it, but I don't necessarily know if they have the dudes to do it. So they're going to be one of the most fascinating teams in this
Oh
league,
yeah,
without question.
100%. I'm on the negative side, but I'm gonna watch for sure.
And for me, I did briefly mention Tennessee, but that's not who's getting my sack command.
Who is it?
Hotty toddy baby, that's the Ole Miss Rebels. Don't trust them at all.
Fair.
This,
Very
yeah,
fair.
this is the LA Angels of the SEC, man. You've got Trinidad Chambliss, who might win the Heisman. You've got Kwan Lacey, who might be my pick to win the Doak Walker. Beyond that, you're asking newcomer offensive coordinator John David Baker coming over from East Carolina to do a whole hell of a lot.
Mhm.
You're also asking Pete Golding to keep this thing on the rails from what Lane Kiffin built, but also it has to be different. And I am rooting for Pete Golding, but he's not been groomed for this. This seems like a situation where, like, I mean, for lack of a better word, Lane Kiffin's the best head coach Ole Miss has had since Johnny Vaughn.
Yeah, 100%. And like he's an asshole, but he's very good at his job.
And you've got some challenging games. Maybe you do beat Georgia, but you got LSU coming in, and it's one team after another. Also, the Egg Bowl is not going to be a cakewalk this year.
Mhm.
Well, one of the things last year that served Ole Miss was they were the only team in the SEC that did not play a Power Five team in the non-conference. Granted, they played Tulane and made the playoff, but they smoked them in the playoff again later. Washington State was close enough, not to say that they had a storm, but like there was a lot that went Ole Miss's way that normally doesn't go that way. So this is probably going to be an 8-4 team. Very,
No,
very.
I'm right there with you, dude. Like when I look at this Ole Miss team, like it's
Oh, my
very
internet
it's very much a stars and scrubs approach when we're talking about this Ole
is
Miss
my
team.
internet bad?
It's not the best, but we can figure it out. It's fine. I heard everything you said. The video just didn't quite match up, but I don't think honestly don't think there's anything to fix in
Okay,
post. I think we'll be fine. But on this Ole Miss team,
that's
like
great.
I think
That's fine.
I think it's Chambliss and Lacey, and then like a bunch of question marks, specifically on the defense. Like you talk about Pete Golding being a guy that has a lot to prove, being a first year head coach and having a lot going on in that department, trying to replace Lane Kiffin. Well, he's also still the defensive like head honcho in this building. He's still the guy that's going to be calling this defense. He's going to be calling it with worse players, and like that worries me to a very very large degree. A first year head coach in that position with worse players. I just don't see the defense being anything close to what it was a year ago.
But he's gonna look damn good on those sidelines in that visor. He's gonna look like, the Mike Gundy of the SEC.
You're damn right he is.
Not really high on Tennessee, but I think that's just like I feel like I picked them every year, so that's not what we're gonna do here.
We'll have some Tennessee thoughts later. I'm sure of it.
I'm certain we will. And it's hot outside. It's getting hot in here. We are channeling our inner Nelly with the five hottest seats in the SEC coming in. Granted, I think they hired three new head coaches this past year. Pete Golding from within, Will Stein at Kentucky, Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas, what is
Alex
John
Galesh.
Alex Golish at Auburn, and then John Summerall at Florida. It's a lot of changes,
A
dude.
lot of turnover.
And
It made.
Lane Kiffin at LSU too.
Oh yeah. Who could forget? Who could forget? Yeah, I mean, it made building this list with like actual hot seat candidates like somewhat challenging, but like
Mhm.
I think it also makes for a better discussion. So hopefully that's the case.
You want to start or should I start?
You got you. I started the last one. You start this one.
This is going to do you no joy, but I think there's some pressure on Steve Sarkisian this year. So I've got
Ooh,
him at
okay.
5.
Okay.
And the only reason I've got it is because, like, I'm not going to put a first time head coach on here. I don't think that that's fair. We don't know. Like, we know Ryan Silverfield can coach a little bit. We have no idea if Will Stein can. But
True.
this is the kind of pressure a couple of years ago that Ryan Day faced at Ohio State. It's like, you need to win something. I don't know what that is. I'm not saying this is national championship or bust, but like, I kind of feel if you're Texas, like if you're not playing in Atlanta and losing to Georgia, or if you're not getting to the national semifinals, this year's a disappointment. So, and at that point, Texas, with all the resources that they have, they've made a huge change on defensive coordinator with Will Boone Muschamp replacing Pete Kwiatkowski. If you can't get it done, you may need to get someone who will. Now, I think that they could get it done, but like there's immense pressure on Steve Sarkisian this year for sure.
No, I don't disagree. Especially with like to the point of like there not being like a lot of real hot seat candidates. Like I would say my 4 and 5, and I would include Sarkeesian in this group, who's probably 6 on my list. But like they're guys under pressure who I don't actually see being in danger of losing their job this year,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my number 5, which is Brent Venables. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's my number 6. So yeah, I'm right
yeah,
there.
yeah, and I would bet we probably have the same number 4. Is it Kalen DeBoer?
Kalen DeBoer, I'm higher on Kalen DeBoer than
Oh, okay, nice.
that.
Like that. I like that. That
I know you
makes
do.
that makes me feel validated in some way. But Brent Venables at my number 5 for me. The way I'm looking at it is he's doing very well in the recruiting show. I think On3 ran a story like profiling him on the recruiting show today, or might not have been On3. Someone did, regardless. But Brent Venables is getting talent in the building. The defense has lived up to the hype since he got to Oklahoma, essentially. Like we've seen Brent Venables' defense be Brent Venables' defense, which is a good thing. We're waiting on the other side of the ball.
Yes.
It cost them last year. I mean, frankly, you took a risk hiring Ben Arbuckle to be in this position, and somewhat as like a package deal with John Mateer. I'm not going to say he's going to lose his job if they don't go to the playoff, or if that doesn't work out necessarily. But at a certain point, we are looking for you to prove that you're not just a one-trick pony on one side of the ball as a head coach, because at that point, you're just a defensive coordinator. So why don't we let you go do that and fire you?
I think that's totally fair. I think a lot of it is contingent on the expectations surrounding Texas. Like you came in this together, you both have adjusted well, but Texas's transition has been a little bit more, I guess seamless is the word, even though I think maybe culturally Oklahoma fits the SEC just a little bit better.
Yeah.
But like A&M is always going to be judged with Mizzou, and Arkansas is always going to be judged with South Carolina. Just that's how they came in together, man.
Right. 100%. No, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. At number 4 for me, it does me no joy. I've got Jeff Lebby at 4.
Mm, I have Jeff Lebby a little bit higher, but understandable.
My thought is we think he's doing a tremendous job here, but you kind of got to get results here in year 3. Like you got to have a winning record, I think, is ultimately what needs to happen. You've got a quarterback who can really play, and Kamari Taylor, who or at least we think can. But then it's also like, yeah, you had the package deal coming over from Oklahoma with Zach Selman as the AD. You're kind of wondering, like, okay, there's a lot of new blood in this league. There's a lot of really good coaches. You might stick out like a sore thumb more than you would think if you go 4-8.
No, and that's why I have him at number 2 on this list. And like I like Jeff Lebby. I think that things like from my perspective have gone as about as well as you could expect in this rebuild while you're trying to rebuild in the SEC, which is a pretty thankless job, quite frankly. And but I will say that at a certain point, if you are Zach Selman, if you are this Mississippi State fan base, if you are the administration, you want to see like tangible progress, not eye test progress.
Right.
And another 4-8 season or somewhere thereabouts, like you honestly, you want to see this team make a bowl game. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bowl game or bust for Jeff Lebby, but I'm not saying that's not the case either, because it might actually be.
Like they made a bowl game last year, but that was all based on APR.
Right.
That's different.
It's a technicality bowl game, which is not what you don't hang the banner for those.
You shouldn't, but you might. So who's number 4 for you?
Number 4, like I said, is Kalen DeBoer.
And I have him at 3.
Okay, and I guess my thing with Kalen DeBoer is I kind of look at the situation like I, I guess I probably worry that I'm being too biased because I'm down on Alabama right now, and it might be a little overcorrection having him at 4. My true feelings are probably closer to 3 or 2 or 3 because I think there's immense pressure on him. Like I said, he's lost as many games in the past 2 years as Nick Saban lost in his last 5, and unfortunately for Kalen DeBoer, Nick Saban set a certain level of expectation in Tuscaloosa, and you're not living up to it. You're not even close to it, quite frankly. And with the problems that I see with this Alabama team, I will say that it does feel like it's very much built in DeBoer's image. You have a 5-star quarterback who you get the chance to develop. You have talent on the outside. You have skill position talent that we're talking about in the backfield, and you have secondary talent, but you're lacking that Alabama identity. So we're going to see if DeBoer ball actually works this year. I think this is the purest sense of DeBoer ball that we've had, and by God, it could not work out well for him.
So here's my thought. I mean, just to get my number 3 here kind
Yeah.
of rolling. The reason I've got him up here a little bit higher is, again, I think the pressure is not as much internally within the athletic department. I think Greg Bird's totally fine with riding this out. I think it's the fine folks up in Huntsville and Birmingham and Mobile that are not going to be happy about this. People in Auburn might, people in Columbus may love this just over the border, but like again, Alabama has a certain standard and he's not quite living up to it. And if he's not doing this, why don't you just give God money to Dan Lanning and say, leave Oregon and come here? Because be a man and make this happen. And again, like maybe Texas does that if Sark goes like 8-4 this year or something nonsensical.
Yeah.
But I just feel there's a little bit more pressure with DeBoer, like within the fan base than I think more so with Sark or even Levy at this point.
I think that's very fair. Very fair. But Alabama fans are numerous and loud. So
Yes, they. So who's 3 for you?
oh, that's the Letterman jacket wearing fellow down there in Knoxville, Josh Heupel.
And he's
I,
2 for me.
I thought he might be. I'll be honest, a lot of this also has to do with my expectations for Tennessee, which could not be lower, man. I think there's a chance that Tennessee could not make a bowl game. Like I think that's the floor of this team. I'm not saying that's what I'm predicting. I think they're probably closer to 7-5. 7-5 ain't going over pretty very well in Knoxville, and worse certainly isn't. You know, it's just kind of been disastrous over the past year and a half for Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Like you had the 5-star savior coming to the building, you sucked with him, and then his exits as ugly as his play was. Then you come in next year and you have Joey Jaguar in there, and like you know what your ceiling is with Joey Aguilar. Sorry, and it's not up to the expectations of making the college football playoff. And the more you see it, the more you just look at this Tennessee team, and I think they're worse. on both sides of the ball than they were a year ago, and that's not really a fun place to be.
Pardon my French starters, but I would be scared shitless if I was a Tennessee fan right now.
I mean, this year could
This
devolve like quickly.
So follow along with this. So 2 years ago, they made the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
They did so with Nico Iamaleava in his 1 year as the starter. Why did that team make the playoff? Well, they beat Alabama, but also Tim Banks' defense was absolutely filthy. We caught on to that very quickly. A year later, you got rid of him because you couldn't stop a cold. I do think Joey Aguilar played very well for them a year ago, all things considered, or especially all things considered, because he came over midway after the spring.
Right.
But there's a non-zero chance that Faison Brandon plays well, but he's a freshman. There's a George McIntyre could live up to his last name, and Ryan Luther Staub's a guy. My biggest concern is you hired Jim Knowles, and his defense didn't take it Penn State. It takes a minute for this to work. It's the Kyle Shanahan Kyle Shanahan offensive defense, except you're not looking at your phone in the backseat or lying about it. Suck it, Kyle, forever. Sorry you're hurt, man, but that's okay. Anyway, we're not clipping that for them.
He seems to be doing well. It's okay.
Yeah, he's doing great. Same with Ricky Pearsall. That not high on the 49ers at all this year.
Well, everyone's hurt, and the substation has its own Twitter account now. So.
Maybe that's the same thing for the Neyland Stadium turf. But my biggest thing with Heupel is you got to develop a second pitch offensively. You can't just do some gimmicky air raid shtick because your greatest disciple and Alex Willis is now at Auburn, and I think he's going to win games there. Mm-hmm. And if Auburn has a better record than you this year, that's problematic.
That'd be fun.
Not ruling that out.
That'd be fun.
I think the problem with Auburn is you got to play Alabama and Georgia. And that's not going to be fun for them either. They got to play in Athens too, but that's an L.
I mean, look, I'm not saying it's an easy path for Auburn, but it's a path.
Yes. So, who's your two?
My two was Levy.
Your two is Levy, and we have the same guy for one.
Yeah, unfortunately, so it's Shane Beamer.
Yeah, the cocky man himself, dude. Like, are there 5 coaches in the Power Four that are on hotter seats than him? No. Like, I'd say Norvell, and I'd probably say
maybe Luke Fickell.
Maybe Fickell, maybe Loxley, maybe O'Brien, and then you're about there.
Yeah, like I mean, he's top 5, and he's probably not 5. Like that's where we're at.
Now I understand South Carolina got a relatively new AD. I think it's Jeremiah Donati, I believe is his last name, or something like that. And they get along well. And as long as you get along with your boss, you've got opportunities. But like, you can't waste Lenore Sellers' prime, man. You can't turn him into like a not draftable player. You got to make this happen, particularly because Nick Harbor's got first-round talent, and Dylan Stewart absolutely has first-round talent.
Dylan Stewart has top 5 talent. Dude. That gets so nasty.
I mean, outside of Colin Simmons, I don't think there's a player that can just do more defensively than him in college football right now.
No, those are the 2 best defensive players in the country. I don't think it's particularly close.
No.
Like, those dudes are nasty. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, like I'm high on what South Carolina can be this year, but God, you better be if you're Shane Beamer. And that's kind of like the catch-22 of all of this is like, not only do I like, regardless of what I believe about him, like that's kind of what Shane Beamer needs to save his job. Because if you go 6-6, I think Shane Beamer's gone. I think if you're scratching by to make a bowl game, you're gone. That's not what South Carolina wants. That's not what South Carolina's going to try to do. And especially after the way you went from 2024 into 2025. You came into 2025 with like elevated expectations and you shit the bed. There's no 2 ways around it. And part of that, like, you can scapegoat your offensive coordinator as much as you want. Brother, part of that is the fact that you hired him. And like that has to be said. And so the more I look at it, the more I'm looking at the situation as Shane Beamer's kind of out of excuses now. And like if you shit the bed again, like that's kind of entirely on you and it's going to cost you your job.
Since the dawn of time, or the dawn of the land before time, with Ducky and Cocky and Peachtree, or whatever their names are, those dinosaurs. If you go to South Carolina, that's your last job as a head coach in college football. It's been this way since Paul Dietzel back, like leaving like LSU, like after coaching with Billy Cannon. It's been a minute. Like Lou Holtz, Steve Spurrier, Will Muschamp, It's not been good. And then Shane Beamer, he ran to this job like Lenore Sellers trying to run, not or knowing where he's going. He ran to this job. And the reason he ran to this job is because, yes, he has a whole hell of a lot of respect for Steve Spurrier, his biggest mentor as a coach outside his father, Frank.
Mhm.
But this is a guy who's not a position coach. This is the ultimate CEO type. He's not calling plays. So how many? I mean, he was like on Lincoln Riley and Kirby Smart staff at Oklahoma and Georgia. Like,
Mhm.
when's that opportunity going to present itself? And I thought, like, okay, if Kirby were to like just retire, maybe he'd be a candidate at Georgia. Again, no, that's not happening now.
No, God
But
no.
like his coaching career depends on it. Otherwise, he's probably going to get into media, and we're going to interview him on the behalf of Arby's.
I mean, in fairness, Shane Bieber will be very good in the media, so he does have a second career like ahead of him if he does get canned. But obviously, I'm predicting that he doesn't. But like that doesn't change the fact that coming into the season, again, God, you better win 8 games. Like otherwise, it might get pretty ugly in Columbia.
I would tend to agree here. I mean, he's not huffing fumes in the back of his cockaboose because he's coming to you live from Air Crouch's couch.
Yes, sir.
I'm always good for one good transition a show, and that was it for
That
this
was really
one.
good.
Live from Eric Crouch's couch is all about the Heisman Trophy. Anytime we talk about the Heisman Trophy, that's what we do. So what we've done the last 3 years is we pick our five best contenders in each league to win the Heisman, and we also have a sleeper, and we go with the sleeper later to kind of make us think about it, unless we spoil each other's sleepers, which is totally possible because that's how this works.
It's happened before and it will happen again. I don't know if it's going to happen in this one though, because the SEC is fun, man. There's some good players in this league. It turns out.
Absolutely. Who's your fifth choice to win the Heisman of the SEC?
I won't belabor the point. It's Lenora Sellers. Do I believe it'll happen? No. Can I stop myself from hoping that it happens? Absolutely not. He's he's more than like he's one of the top five most talented like Heisman contenders. Whether or not he like has the team around him to actually do it, we'll see.
And I spoke too soon because he's my honorable mention.
Well, here we go. Here we go.
It'd be like that sometimes. Again, I echo all those points. He's my favorite player that doesn't play for Georgia in college football. I want to see him succeed so bad.
I just want
He's
good
he's
things
he's
for
ex
him, man. I can't help
dude.
it.
He's X-ray from holes, and I was mentioning that to Sam Ferris at work today. Like that's Lenore Sellers is X-rays from holes. And number five, we've got a new nickname here who also shares the same given name as her. We got Sam Clavicular Levitt at five for me.
Yes, sir. That's the guy. I have him at 4, so we're right. We're pretty lockstep there.
He's got all the talent to be a first round pick. I think there's a chance this could be really combustible. I think he's got a very aloof personality. This is kind of what hurts a lot of guys who are mega talents. We've seen it hurt Anthony Richardson. Seen it hurt Jeff George, Jay Cutler. But this could work out tremendously. LSU could win a national championship, and he could be the next Heisman out of there. It's going one of two ways, brother.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's kind of what LSU is as a general whole, which I mean, part of it is because the player playing in the most important position embodies that. I will say one thing that's different to me about some of those guys that you mentioned there, particularly like your Anthony Richardsons and of that ilk, is we've seen Sam Levitt do it before. Like he's taken a team that was far less talented than LSU to a college football playoff semifinal, not semifinal, quarterfinal, excuse me. And that matters to me to some degree. The fact that we've seen him do it, not denying the fact that it's combustible. But yeah, I have Sam Levitt at number 4. And I've said this before, but if you're new here, like I look at it's particularly in these previews, I look at Heisman largely as like opportunity. Like, can I paint the picture of how you win the Heisman Trophy? And for Sam Levitt, it's pretty easy. If it breaks well, it's going to be because he plays well at LSU and they have the talent for everything to break really, really well. And on top of that, it's a quarterback in a Lane Kiffin offense, which God knows that's been productive plenty of times before.
Absolutely. So if he's your four, I'll go with my four here. I got a guy that may not be on your list. I'm going to go with Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer.
I don't have material on the list, but he would probably be 6 if I like not including the sleeper that I have, but he would probably be 6 for me.
There's a non-zero chance that he may become the greatest person to happen to Oklahoma since Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Mhm.
Like he may win it like Tebow did. Like there's he's a tremendous dual threat, really good run of the ball. He'll turn the football over like nobody's business.
Oh yeah.
We think Oklahoma's going to be decent or at least playoff viable. I don't know if either of them have that in. Again, we've got to deliberate over that over the next couple of weeks before you ultimately decide where OU lands. But if he plays like he did the first third or quarter of last year, he could get there. And he also plays at a school where it's very easy to win Heisman trophies, even if you aren't the most NFL talented guy. Shout out Jason White.
Dude, shout out Jason White. What a guy. Talk about a guy remembering a dude. That's Jason White right there. No, my thing with Mateer that kind of holds me back is I can see him overall putting together a nice season. I can see Oklahoma benefiting from that, but I don't think he's going to have the consistency that I think some of these guys that I have towards the top of the list and in this top five, I think will. Like, I think that we could see Mateer have a game where he has like 550 total yards and like 6 touchdowns, and then the next week throw for like 140 with a touchdown and an interception. And Oklahoma still wins because they're that talented defensively, but like I just think it's going to be erratic performance wise, which I mean, he's kind of shown us that's what he
That's what,
is. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's, yeah, good old moneyline Mateer, or shout out Pinky Mateer.
that's right.
Right. We may have a lot of overlap with our top three. I would venture to guess this is probably, yeah.
I might surprise you with my three. I don't know if you might have him, you probably do, but I have Keelan Russell at number three.
I don't.
So we have someone. I have one in my top three that you don't have, and then you have one in yours that I don't have. But again, I'm low in Alabama, but I do think Keelan Russell's the real deal. Like I think this kid's very, very good, and we've seen quarterbacks in a DeBoer offense really put up numbers. And if Alabama performs well above my level of expectations, but even like college football playoff, competing for a national championship expectation, I think it's going to be because of Keelan Russell when I look at this personnel. It's going to be because he's an otherworldly guy and that he lives up to his 5-star billing immediately. If that does happen, I think he's going to have to put up numbers that have him pretty heavily in the conversation for a Heisman Trophy.
And how you view how it's like how you view Russell's kind of how I view like Mateer. I think like that's like he's in
Yeah.
that list too. Like I'm not ruling that out.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot of ifs got to happen there. Immensely talented. He's gonna win the starting job too. But
I mean, I'm projecting. I put it this way: I wouldn't have Austin. I wouldn't pull a boy like my boy Bud Elliott and have Alabama QB here. It's just Keelan Russell. I don't think Austin Mack's a Heisman contender.
I love what Bud Elliott's first name is, but I'm gonna give him one. It's probably something like Percy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Percival Elliott the
I mean,
fifth.
he has a law degree, so that would track tremendously.
Yeah, that's probably why he goes by Bud there.
Oh yeah.
At number three, I got my guy Gunner. Gunner
See,
Stockton.
I love
Yeah.
Gunner off. Yeah.
I think like if he does it, he plays like Cam Newton did in
Mhm.
2010. I think he's going to be filthy in the red zone. I think he's going to have to run the ball a lot. Again, I think there's probably potentially some concerns with the receiving core, but I mean, London Humphreys, we know he's gotten better each year. I got better.
I got that.
We'll see what Isaiah Canyon does coming over from Georgia Tech. Georgia's gonna Georgia's gonna have probably the best rushing attack, probably possibly in the country. Offensive line's gonna be ridiculously good. I mean, hell, Gunner's gonna probably be doing a pulling guard thing like he's Gene Upshaw out there. But again, I think the thing is Kirby doesn't play for the Heisman
Mhm.
Trophy, and if he's going to get there, it's probably going to be like the Stetson Bennett, like Heisman. Well, I guess we have to have either at four.
Yeah, and like that, I think that's the best argument, and that for me is why he's not on the list. I think that Georgia's path to success isn't Gunnar Stockton putting up Heisman caliber numbers. And that's not a bad thing. I think Gunnar Stockton's a good player. I think Gunnar Stockton probably has a future in the NFL, whether that's as a backup, so be it. But like, I think he's a very good football player and a very good quarterback. But like you said, Georgia has one of the best rushing attacks in the league. And yes, Gunnar Stockton is going to be part of that, but he's not going to be the focal point, and he's probably not going to be the second focal point in it. And like, there's a reason I don't have him or Nate Frazier on this list because I like those are the two lead guys in that backfield. I just think there's too many mouths to feed. I think that's really what it comes down to me with them. But like that's not a knock on Gunnar Stockton. I think Gunnar Stockton's a very good football player and really good for Georgia, specifically this Georgia team.
So you're saying like Georgia achieving all it can, like you need like Drew Bobo to win like the Remington. You need like Raylan Wilson to win the Butkus. You need like
Honestly,
uh
Joe Moore award for the entire offensive line, probably not a
yeah,
bad thing. Like, yeah.
yeah, you need to probably get like some sort of Ray guy or like Rosa thing, maybe a
Mhm.
Thorpe winner there. So My name's Gunner, and I like to run.
Hey, look, I'm a fan of Gunner. It has nothing to do, well, on the football field, I should say, but I'm a fan of Gunner.
All right, top two. Maybe it's similar. I don't know. Maybe I spoke out of my ass. At number two, I've got Trinidad Chambliss.
At number two, I also have Trinidad Chambliss.
I know I disparaged Ole Miss to start. Don't think that they're a playoff, but again, Heisman voters think differently than I do.
Mhm.
They slobber knocker. They just slobber all over themselves about stats. I am of the belief in this day and age, you have to be on a playoff team.
Mhm.
Like, unless it's like Diego Pavia. And even at that point, like,
You got to be Lamar, honestly.
yeah, you gotta be Lamar. You gotta be better than RG3 at Baylor.
Yeah,
You gotta be better than Matt. You gotta be better
yeah,
than Matt now.
right.
And I don't know if Ole Miss is, but if they are and they're close enough, they're 9-3, and he's throwing for like 5,000 yards. This damn the torpedoes offense of JD Baker, I could see it happening.
No, and honestly, that's why I have him at two and not one is because of Ole Miss. On the numbers that I think Trinidad Chambliss is about to put up, on the level of performance that I've seen him have in big games to this point in his career, he'd probably be number one, honestly, because he's proven it at every level. I think the team around him lets him down, and and like the unfortunate part about that. But to your point, like especially with the way modern offenses in college football are constructed, when a team like Ole Miss gets down, and we're talking about Trinidad Chambliss having to try to win them games single-handedly, you're going to throw more picks. You're going to make a careless decision with the football, and like that's going to hurt your statistical process and somewhat in the end of the day, like at the end of the day, start to eliminate you from the Heisman race.
I think that's fair. And we have the same guy for one. It does me no joy, but I
Yeah,
would I would be lying to you. It's Arch Manning.
it is Arch Manning. Like it's Arch.
Yeah. I'll let you just go and then I'll give my 2 cents.
Look, man, I know everyone's probably tired of hearing about Arch Manning. I don't really care because the kid's really good at football. He came out last year with a ton of expectations, and I understand that his last name's Manning and that he should have been ready for that, but he clearly wasn't. And I don't know if that was a SART problem. I don't know if it was a mental thing, but he got over it. And that's the most important thing to me. Week 6 through 12 last year, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He was slinging the thing all over the place. He like had his throwing motion and his mechanics looking like they did prior to starting last year and just kind of getting out of rhythm against Ohio State and not really recovering for a month. But when you look at all of this, I expect him to take a step forward beyond that. I think that we're talking about a guy who in Louisiana in high school football was playing in 2A. Like we're talking about a guy who had not faced this level of competition. He's gotten a taste of it. He knows what it's going to take to work to do that. And look, you can say what you want about the Manning family, but they do earn their shit. Like they don't go out there and just like lollygag this stuff. And like Eli went out there and earned everything that was given to like he didn't just like pass by on being a Manning other than where he was drafted, which I will say was probably just him being a Manning. But neither here nor there. But like you look at Arch and then I look at the situation around him. You have a better running game, or what should be a better running game, because I think the offensive line is going to be better than it was a year ago. You have a better wide receiver core, one that's going to be more reliable, one with Cam Coleman, who is going to be like Jeremiah Smith is for Julian Sand, but for a more talented quarterback. I just look at Arch Manning and all of the opportunity is there. And again, this is a situation where Texas has to live up to the hype and be a national championship contender for this to get any credence, because the defense could allow 52 points in a game and a loss for Texas, and they're going to blame it on Arch Manning somehow because that's kind of the focal like point that he is for this football team. But I am very high on Texas this year, and Arch Manning is not just one of the front runners in the SEC, but one of the front runners for the award period.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. No Manning has ever won a Heisman Trophy or a national championship, but I think what three of them, two of them have been number one overall picks. So maybe that's in his future. Look, I'd be stupid to say that like Arch isn't going to do this. Like he could certainly get there. I think that the opportunity, I think the media will gas him up. But again, he has to earn this. He
Mhm.
can't like throw up all over himself versus Florida. Like you're gonna have to beat Georgia to do this. You're gonna have to get to like the national, semifinals to make this happen. And I'm not ruling that out. I also think that like he did look a lot better as the season went along here too. But like there's gonna have to come a point. It's like, you know what, Sark, you're choking in this moment, and I'm gonna give you the Heimlich maneuver. And we're just gonna win, man.
That's
Like
right.
if he can do that, then more power to them. And again, I think he's going to be a finalist. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman,
Mhm.
but he's certainly probably the most likely candidate that I see in the SEC right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, honestly, going back to Peyton's runner-up, finishing the Heisman when we lost to Charles Woodson. I'm not saying that Arch is going to lose to a DB or a kick returner or anything like that, but I am saying that there's some similarities there because one of the reasons Peyton Manning lost that Heisman Trophy, despite having a really good statistical year, is he played his worst games in the biggest games of the season for Tennessee.
Yeah.
And
Really struggled with Florida and stuff
mhm,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I think that Arch's Heisman candidacy is going to come down to that in a lot of ways. So it's not dissimilar to what Uncle Peyton had to go through.
No, it is not. And let's keep rolling with Jim Mora Jr.'s favorite phrase, which is playoffs. You kidding me?
I wonder if it is his favorite phrase. I'm sure
I
people
don't.
just yell it at him nowadays.
I hope he's got enough of his marbles today, but like that's
Right.
that's okay. I wonder if he's going to go to Fort Collins this year and watch his son coach the Rams.
It's a better trip than UConn. That's for damn sure.
He likes he likes getting the investment advice.
That's right.
But yeah, for the starters at home, playoffs, you kidding me, is usually like we rank the 12 teams in the playoff, or really anything that's tied to like the playoffs. We've got other things out there too. We got you better Euro check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's kind of more with what the committee's thinking. We always do that after a point off the lead chair, which is Hunter Euro check, I think again for another year.
That's right. God bless him. God bless him.
And we are no longer falling out of Boo Cortland's apple tree, or coming to you live from Ward Manual's manual.
God, honestly, the most fun I have is coming up with the new CFP chairs. What his segment's going to be called. It's so good.
We had every road's had torn, and then the macros just fear Pete everywhere.
It was the shortest lived segment in the show's history for sure.
The William Henry Harrison. Did you know Benjamin Harrison's his grandson was his grandson?
Yeah, I knew they were related. I didn't know like exact relation, but yeah, I knew they were related.
There was a president sandwich there, and this is false start.
That's
So
right.
the way we're gonna do this is we've broken it down. We've got playoff locks, playoff contenders, and pretenders. I've also thrown not a chance in there. Do you want to start or should I start?
How many do you have? How many locks do you have? Let's start there.
I have three.
I also have three, so I'm gonna assume we probably have the same three.
Georgia, Texas, and Texas A&M.
Correct. Yes, we do. We do have the same three locks.
I was very curious to see if you had A&M in there as well. I just think the floor is so high with the Aggies.
It's exactly what I was thinking, dude. We're on the exact same page with A&M. Like it's fun. It's funny that this segment is phrased as like CFP contenders, like whether or not they're I think they're 100% of college football playoff lot to get in there. And I don't think that they're a national championship contender at all. Like I think their floor and ceiling are basically touching. Like I don't think that there's like I think I know what this team is, and it's 10-2 and maybe a quarterfinal appearance.
We have a team like that too in the Big Ten. That's the Indiana Hoosiers. So we'll probably
Correct.
touch on that next. So like
Mhm.
they very Oregon was this team for a while. Oregon maybe has another gear to them this year, but like this is A&M. I feel very smart about that. And as for Georgia and Texas, I don't think we need to belabor the point. Like these teams are stacked.
These are two of the five best teams in the country, and it's not. I think
Yeah,
that that's almost without debate.
yeah. Two of the top 5 or 6 teams in the country without debate. No, not even close.
Yeah,
There's
they are national championship contenders, which is why Texas A&M is a fun inclusion in here because like I'm more confident in their college football playoff like their chances to make it than I am in anything else about this team.
100%. So you kick us off. Your contenders. How many contenders do you have?
I have three,
And
and
I have four.
you have four. I'm curious to see who your fourth is. I have LSU, Oklahoma, and God forbid I have Alabama in here because I'm low on Alabama, but I'm also not a fool. And I play both sides of both sides of this, so I come out a winner. And that's what I'm looking at here.
That's what Frank Reynolds did. Pinning two pig dealers against each other
That's right.
for his luau for his birthday. I have all three of those teams as well as Ole Miss. Again, I'm playing both sides of the coin here with that
Mhm.
too. Look, those all these teams have made the playoff before. LSU a while ago back in 2019, but Alabama, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss were all playoff teams a year ago. they can't fall like that far off. Like if they do, like they're gonna be like winning like 8 or 9 games. Like the floor is pretty high. Although I think the floor could potentially fall out for Alabama and Ole Miss, which is why you and I have trepidation for that.
Mhm.
LSU, we hope it comes together, but it might not.
I mean, like they're 100% talented enough. They 100% in a vacuum have the coaching staff for it. Like everything in a vacuum says that LSU is a playoff team. It's what's outside of the vacuum that's quite worse.
You can give me all the best ingredients. Am I going to be able to figure out how to cook it? I don't know.
Look, hot yoga is not done in a vacuum. That's all I'm saying.
That's a lasting image in my brain for the rest of the time. Lane Kiffin's in there, and his veins bulging out of his head like that kid who was doing that in the classroom in the meme, like that kid.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, let's not seize up on air. How many pretenders do you have?
I have three pretenders here, and that is Tennessee, Ole Miss, as previously mentioned, and Missouri, who I'm see actually you could I actually have it down as if to be clear, whatever team you want to put here because it could be Florida, it could be Missouri, but I think there's only one team that you're gonna like. There's only one more team that would even be you would think about considering a contender, and whoever you want that to be, I think they're ultimately a pretender. I don't think I see any of those teams actually making the college football playoff.
And as the band, the Pretenders, I have 4 members, and 2 of them died pretty early. Um, I have Auburn, Florida, Missouri, and Tennessee.
Okay, and I like that. Yeah.
I think Missouri is probably the one of these I trust the most.
Mhm.
I think there's a chance either Auburn or Florida is going to be good, probably not both. And then Tennessee, as soon as I bury them, they win like 9 games. And then I've got the other 5 teams, not a chance with Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina, unfortunately, Vanderbilt.
I did not list those other teams, but yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I'm high on South Carolina, and like to your point about Missouri, I probably trust Missouri the most out of that group as well, because like again, I'm very worried about Ole Miss. I'm very worried about what Tennessee's going to look like this year. I'm pretty sure I know what Missouri's going to look like, and they're like a lesser version of Texas A&M. Like I have them as a pretender because I think that their ceiling just isn't a playoff team, but I think their floor is comfortably like 7-5, 8-4.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Right?
And I'm pretty sure they said that while they were recording Du Hast or Du Hast, or they're recording Du Hast over there in Germany with some Ramstein. Our penultimate topic of the day is Du Hast or Du Hast. And again, this is a play on the Ramstein signature hit from like the late 90s.
Mhm.
So, and again, this is the most confusing segment to everybody, but it's also our best segment. This is the equivalent of what highly questionable's C or no is.
Yeah.
Du hast, DU space HAST means you have me. That's what they use in German wedding vows. Hast with 2 S's, DU space HASST means you hate me.
Mhm.
So
Do you have me or do you hate me? What is it? Come on now.
I don't know. Do Haas or do Haas? Do Haas or do Haas? Does the SEC end the Big Ten streak of winning consecutive national championships? This is dated back to 2023 with Michigan beating a new Big Ten team in Washington, 24 with Ohio State beating Notre Dame, and 25 with Indiana beating Miami.
I'm gonna go do Haas 1S. I think the SEC does it this year.
Let's
And
go.
if I'm being honest, I'm playing this the nerdiest and least fun way possible. I'm sorry, but I think the SEC is gonna have more chances. I think the SEC has a lot far more likely chance of getting like actual national championship caliber teams into the college football playoff and more than just two. Because I think that you look at both conferences, there's two clear front runners that are in those top 5 or 6 teams that we're talking about. And obviously Ohio State and Oregon and then Texas and Georgia. But when I go down the list here, like I don't think necessarily Texas A&M can win a national championship, but I think there's a world where LSU, if everything goes right, if this is like the right experiment, LSU's talented enough to win a national championship. You look at a team like Oklahoma or Alabama, like, do I believe in them fully? No. But like, am I able to see a path to a national championship? Yeah, it's there. Like Oklahoma is going to have one of the best defenses in the country. Alabama could be electric offensively and have the best offense in the conference. So like I think that they're capable of winning national championships. You go down the list in the Big Ten, I'm not sure that's like You just mentioned it with Indiana. Like, I'm not sure Indiana is capable of winning a national championship this year. I'm not sure USC is capable of winning a national championship. So, like, this is more about bites at the apple for me than it is like trying to like measure who I think is going to win the national championship. Spoiler, I am probably picking an SEC team to win the national championship, but that's not how I'm looking at this question. I'm looking at it as we're not even at week 0 of a college football season. What I think is really not going to matter probably that much in 4 weeks. And so I would rather play the probability, which is that the SEC has more championship caliber teams than the Big Ten.
Look, you matter. You matters too, two starters. But what you say and I say and anybody says doesn't really matter. We're trying. We're trying, Jennifer. Uh,
That's right. That's right.
gotta throw all of our segment ideas here at the new show to start the season off here. But I love that. I just don't believe it. I'm gonna go do Austin two S's.
Nice.
I kind of think it's probably gonna be the Big Ten again. And it does me no joy. I think there's two reasons for that. We saw last year the SEC got 5 teams in, the Big Ten only got 3. It didn't matter. I think the SEC teams were kind of just, it was a joyless slog to get there. I mean, Ole Miss kind of cut a couple of breaks, but Georgia had to fight in its way there. Alabama had to fight its way there, and then they run into other teams and just it's a problem. Even if it's team on team like hate, like Georgia or Ole Miss here. I just think that like whoever wins the Big Ten, but whether that's Ohio State or Oregon, I'm not even ruling out Indiana. I don't think it's going to be Michigan or USC, Washington, Iowa, or anybody else like that. But I mean, God, like Indiana doesn't play anybody in the non-conference. It's such a joke. Like, and if you get there, like we haven't made enough changes to the playoff selection committee where like that doesn't matter. Like they're going to be rewarded for bowling with the bumpers up. Like that's Coach Sig on bowling night. He's just bumper. His favorite Diddy Kong racer is Bumper.
That's right.
He's a Badger, and that doesn't enjoy because he's a Hoosier, which is a Buffalo, I think.
Or who's your something? I don't know.
I think it's a farmer.
I don't know what anything in the Big Ten is, if I'm being completely honest. Like all their trophies and whatnot, no idea. Except for some of our faves.
That's absolutely true. My biggest conspiracy theory alive is I don't believe the Wolverine's a real animal. I think it's fake, like a dragon. I think they just made it up.
I mean,
I've never
completely
seen
fair.
one.
I'm Show me the evidence. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where is this? Why is this out here? I mean, to be fair, maybe a Wolverine's a good bull.
That's right.
Our last topic. We're gonna do this here now with some good bull or it don't mean enough. How the hell we did this? I guess it's good bull. It don't mean enough. Whatever. We'll do a slash for this. Good
Yeah,
bull's
we'll
gonna be right
slash it,
there.
baby. It's good.
So yeah, like we want to just be consistent, not overthink this. We're going to try to give you the best stuff we can for each of these preview episodes. We used to do something fun here, like graphic designs are passion or outside the minds. And then we realized that was not done in good taste, just cold dust.
It was funny, but comedy's ever evolving.
It always is, man. It's like Gen Z discovering why Tropic Thunder is a problematic movie every day.
You know, Shout out to Oscar nominee and winner Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, we're watching the MCU again. We're about halfway through Doctor Strange. I understand absolutely none of it.
You're not supposed to, I don't think. He's a wizard. That's basically what you get.
Dude, I was having a hard time with Captain America Civil War. I'm like, wait, this isn't the Avengers.
I
What the hell's
mean,
going?
it is, but it isn't. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing with movies. They gotta learn all these people's names.
It's
Like, I
terrible.
don't, I don't, I don't need to do this. I like figuring this out. Like, what is your name? Oh, I've been thinking this wrong the whole time. Usually on my phone, I lose patience. Whereas like a TV show, it's like, okay, there's just Joey from Friends, and he's just being dumb again. And I know I don't have to think about this. This isn't that hard.
No, I mean, I was actually talking with someone the other day. This is way off topic, and we'll get back to the segment at hand here. But people are wondering why like the MCU isn't doing as well as it was during the Infinity Saga. Brother, we watched like 20 plus movies over the course of over a decade, and then you expected to us just do it again? Nah, dude, that's a lot of time and attention I've already devoted to this. Like, I'm ready to move on to other things.
Yeah, it's like the people who are like massive Star Wars fans. They're like, and then what happened? What happened before that?
I,
Like,
I
shut
love Star Wars as much as the next guy. I can't stand Star Wars fandom. It's one of the most toxic things that ever
yeah.
existed.
And then what happened? Shut up, Thurman Merman. Go make me a sandwich.
That's right.
That's a new segment. Go make me a sandwich, Thurman Merman. Thurman Merman's report card.
That's right.
God, that's good. So things that we're excited and we're looking forward to at the SEC this year. I put no prep into this like Tony Romo
It's fine.
in more ways than one.
I have the most vague things possible, so it's totally fine. I'll start though. I think the SEC is going to be pretty chaotic this year. I think that there is once you remove Arkansas and Kentucky, who I think are kind of just going to blow ass this year, once you kind of remove them from the equation, I don't know how shocked I'd be if anyone beat anyone.
Not
And
high in Vanderbilt, but yes, I agree with you.
even to that point, though, you are talking about Jared Curtis, a like highly touted 5-star quarterback. And even if he doesn't, like, I don't think he's going to have a consistent season by any stretch of the imagination. He's 18 years old. Like, we've seen what that looks like. He might have a game of his life against someone. You know what I'm saying? Where he throws 5 tutties, 450 yards, and like Vanderbilt upsets someone. Like, I just think there's that. And like, I don't necessarily see that with Kentucky and Arkansas, which is why I'm just a little bit lower on them than I am Vandy. I'm low on Vandy as a whole, especially in comparison. But like, I just think that, especially when you look from the middle belly up, like, I think any of those teams can shock any of the other teams in the conference. And like, that's even with Georgia and Texas being, I think, a cut above. I still think the SEC is going to be really chaotic this year, and that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Probably not for you specifically, but as a neutral observer of the SEC, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I think quarterback play is going to be tremendous across the board. You can go
Yeah.
about 11 deep in this league, and you're like, that guy's pretty good.
Mhm.
Like we didn't even mention Marcel Reed on the show. He can kind of play. Like Austin
Oh yeah.
Simmons, we didn't mention him at all. Kenny Minchie, he might be able to play for Kentucky. I don't know, probably not, but he might. And then
He's
you
going to
know,
try.
Jared Curtis has 5 stars next to his name, and he played like a 1-star high school in Tennessee, and he probably belonged at the F Boy factory that's across the street from me.
Most likely. That's
Um,
okay.
that tracks, but I'm looking forward to like redemption seasons here
Mhm.
for Lenore Sellers and John Mateer.
Yeah.
Sam Levitt too, but he also may just be a bad seed. Um, See how Byron Brown plays in the power forward. See if Gunnar Stockton and Trinidad Chambliss and Arch Manning can take their games up another level.
No, I like that. And that actually leads really you kind of mentioned Byron Brown coming over, and that kind of leads to my next one. There's a lot of new blood in the
Yeah.
SEC this year. And I think some new blood that can kind of shake up the apple cart a little bit. Like, I don't know what John Summerall's Florida is going to be, but I want to see it. I'm excited to see what it looks like. I don't know.
That guy, he
Go ahead.
better win, man. He better win, dude, because he is
Yeah.
talking so much shit constantly.
And if he doesn't, it's going to be good content.
It's
So like we win
yeah.
either way.
He's either Steve Spurrier or Jim McElwain. This is false start.
God, Florida's just a content factory, really, when you think about it. They don't stop.
Florida's not, another country. It's another continent.
It really is. One not recognized by the United Nations either. But no, and Alex Galesh at Auburn and like what Byron Brown looks like I've said it before and I'll say it again. Auburn's going to take down someone big. I don't know if that's going to be Alabama. I don't know if that's going to be Georgia. I don't know who it's going to be, but Auburn is going to like take down a big fish this year in I think a very emphatic way, just because they can catch them by surprise. I'm not the biggest Ryan Silverfield guy. That's well established, but maybe the offense that you worked with at Memphis for so long, catches someone by surprise. Like, I'm just curious to see what all this new blood looks like, because you think about the last time that we had like a real influx of new blood. We're talking about like when Drink came over, and like God knows Drink's been a blessing to the SEC. It's been good having Eli Drinkwitz, and I want to see who the next Eli Drinkwitz is from this next crop.
Ryan Silverfield, he was working in Memphis. I don't know if he was walking to Memphis. I don't know how far you've gotten in a Righteous Chip since. We're going to do a theme show when this is done.
I haven't made much progress. I think I watched an episode since we last spoke.
That's okay. Are you on season 2 yet?
Oh God, no, 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 no.
Okay.
We're moving slow. We had a busy weekend, not a whole lot of TV watching.
I respect that. The second season is very much about Memphis, so just be
Oh hell
prepared
yeah.
for that. It's going to be so good. And I guess like my last thing, because we talked about like this league's going to be chaotic. The quarterback play is going to be good. There's a bunch of coaches saying a bunch of wild stuff out there. I am also eager to see. There's going to be at least 2 fan bases that just lose it, that just
Yeah.
absolutely lose it. I think it might be Alabama as one.
Yeah.
and I don't know who the other one is. I mean, it's Tennessee, but we may see Oklahoma fans just completely fall apart at the seams.
Mhm.
We may we may see Georgia just lose its mind. It's probably not, maybe Texas, but like there's a lot of teams in here and a lot of really passionate fan bases that I think you're not going to react accordingly on social media.
Um, I've got one more that you didn't mention there, which is my last one for this. The LSU Tigers fan base. God knows how this is gonna go, but I am seated with my popcorn ready, Lane Kiffin. I am ready to watch how this plays out because it is going to be wildly entertaining, and that's independent of results. Like, there's no way that this isn't not like that this ends up being like some milk toast team. It's like we're either going to have a national championship contender or we're going to have a complete and utter dumpster fire. And I truly don't see like the middle outcome being possible for how we got to this point with LSU. And yeah, like I said, like I result like independent of results, I cannot wait to see what happens in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
And I can't wait to see what happens during this college football season because this was episode 297 of False Start. You can follow me, John Buhler, on Twitter or the X at Buhler118. You can follow Cody Williams at the Sizzle20. You can follow along with the show at CFB False Start. Like, rate, listen, subscribe, review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. It really helps the show grow. Give us a 5-star review. It's really nice. I guess on Buzzsprout, that's on our YouTube thing.
Oh,
This thing costs money. I'm forever in debt to you. So this just sucks. I'd be a debtor's prison to Cody. This was the Victorian era, man.
yeah, but I hate the Victorian era. Those movies suck. So
Not a Dickens fan, are you? No.
God, no.
You don't like Christmas Carol? Oh, no.
I like a Muppets Christmas Carol, the best version of that for sure. But that's probably just because I like the Muppets.
That's fair. And we like Spirited way too much too.
That's fair, but I mean that makes fun of the Dickens era because the Victorian era was stupid.
We're not gonna die in January. We're gonna keep on rolling. Get your popcorn ready, brother. Get your boudin ready. Get your hogs roasted. And put some sunscreen on. Pour yourself a tall one. Sit back and enjoy the ride because this is False Start.